What's good, y'all? What's the numbers TV? It's your boy Po Ro. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed already, and like a video if you appreciate the content that Po Ro and What's the Numbers I provided. Today we back with another profile piece. This one is on CeCe Fly. In this video we gonna take a look at his early years growing up in Arkansas. Then we will speak about his love for music from an early age that will grow into him becoming a full-time rapper. After that, we will focus on the lifestyle CeCe was living and portraying on social media before finally breaking down the situation that ended up taking his life. CeCe Fly, real name Ronnie Cravens Jr., is born and raised in Fort Smith, Arkansas. Growing up in the deep South would be different from growing up in a major city like LA or New York, but for CeCe he loved it, being that it was all he knew. Raised in a household with both parents, CeCe grew up in the church, sometimes going up to 4 times a week for different things like mass, Bible study, and choir practice. He attended a public high school in Fort Smith and played basketball, football, and track at different times, eventually graduating in 1997. A couple years later, CeCe, who had been singing and writing poems from an early age, embarked on his lifelong dream of becoming a rapper. He decided at 20 years old to leave Arkansas for a bigger city in hopes of getting signed to a major label. Eventually, CeCe will settle down in Dallas, Texas, where it was easier to network and promote his music to a larger audience. While there, he signed a record deal with a small label called Big Wheel Records. But after inking the deal, it was mainly an independent grind for CeCe as he began to drop various projects and videos. While in Dallas, he met a lady of the night who introduced him to the game. With his music career taking longer than expected to take off, he would start funding his lifestyle by becoming a Mac, and from that moment on, CeCe would enter the game of pimping and hoeing. For the next few years, CeCe would take his show back on the road, traveling from city to city, networking and meeting new people at every stop. On the music side of things, he would continue working, even returning back to Arkansas to shoot music videos, although he felt he should have been receiving more support from his hometown. CeCe will go on Nas's Hip Hop Is Dead tour as an opening act in 2006, where he formed a relationship with Nas's little brother Jungle. Then in 2008, CeCe formed a relationship with New Orleans rapper Currency, who took him on the Smokers Club tour with his Jet Life crew. During his travels over the years, another state that CeCe would fall in love with was Las Vegas, where he ended up taking residency at. Now, while living in Vegas, CeCe's lifestyle resembled that of a part-time rapper / pimp. The reason part-time is in front of the rapper part and not the pimp part is because for years, CeCe was known to stay in the company of beautiful women who were part of the porn and sex industry. He was looked at as an active pimp by many and spoke about pimping in his music and on social media. He was also linked to Adele film star Jenna Ivory, as the two looked to be doing pretty good for themselves moving as a unit. Around 2017-2018, CeCe had a falling out with Currency and released a few videos and Instagram posts going at the former Young Money rapper. CeCe's gripe seemed to be that he felt like Currency never put him or any other Jet Life artist in a position to win in the music game. Then in 2019, CeCe would have his biggest moment musically when he linked up with DaBaby and Stunner 4 Vegas for the track No Cap Zone. They will release the video for the song in March of the same year, and in no time, the video had over 1 million views. Right after, DaBaby would blow up on a national scale, making the feature even more valuable to CeCe's music career. After releasing the song with DaBaby, a few media outlets would hit CeCe up for an interview to talk about his career and upcoming music. One and never shy away from his age, CeCe let the viewers know he was pushing 40, but that didn't stop him from making good music that a younger audience could enjoy. The new success and interest the public had in CeCe sparked a fire in him as he began to start recording more music and videos, even hiring a personal cameraman to work with him directly on a day-to-day basis. But before CeCe could put his plan into motion, the haters would literally come knocking on his door. And in October of 2019, CeCe, his roommate, a cousin, and a friend were at his Henderson, Nevada home chilling and editing videos when a number of armed men rushed the entrance. Entering through the rapper's home garage, the robbers barged inside and attempted to rob CeCe and his roommates, at which point a shootout ensued, resulting with the rapper being shot and killed. As CeCe laid on the floor dying, the suspects took his Rolex watch and diamond chain before fleeing the scene. Police say the robbery was premeditated and well thought out. The assailants used a text-free number to order pizzas to the house on 2 different occasions in the days leading up to the home invasion. But even with all the planning, the police were able to crack the case. And by November 2019, they arrested Angel Cordero Fernandez and charged him with open murder, attempted murder, and conspiracy to commit robbery. They were able to link Fernandez to the murder because when the pizzas were delivered, police say Fernandez was parked nearby in a Dodge Nitro, watching and casing the home. Detectives say surveillance video also caught a glimpse of Fernandez's face as he briefly lifted his mask while fleeing the crime scene in that same car. Officials also say the car was registered to Fernandez's wife, and it also has several bullet holes on the passenger side from the shootout that took place during the robbery. The murder of CeCe was back in the headlines in January of 2020 when Michael Jerome Mosley was arrested in connection to CeCe's murder. But that wasn't the end of it, because in April of 2020, another arrest would take place when Wahid Briley was booked on the same charges as the other two performed. So far, Fernandez and Mosley have went to trial and been found guilty, with Briley set to go to trial sometime next year. Mosley was sentenced in April to 12 to 30 years in prison for his role in the robbery and shooting, while Fernandez was sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole for his role in the fatal shooting and robbery at CeCe. Now, we will have to wait to see what the outcome will be with Wahid Briley when he goes to trial next. But yo, it's What's the Numbers TV. This is a quick profile piece on CeCe Fly, real name Ronnie Cravens Jr. Now, it's sad that he was killed right when his rap career finally looked like it was having some momentum with the Baby feature. Like he had some, people interested as far as like in new music following that song. And, it just so happens that he is taking out his glow right at that moment, because he been grinding for a long time. So as far as musically, he was good and he was doing his thing as far as like in life in general, as far as like, being able to provide for himself. But when in music, you could tell that was his real passion because he been doing it for a long time, over 20 years. And right when he had that opportunity to really like, maybe make a little lane for himself or, even have a little moment where he might be able to get something going for himself, even if it was for a short period of time, he ended up, getting killed. Now, the robbery was nasty work, Like they staked him out, they broke into the crib, they shot him, they took his piece, they pawned his piece 3 days later. The piece was worth like 50 racks. The dudes was ended up located off of the pawn because he had to give his social security number or his ID to pawn the chain. They pawned it in San Francisco. So they ended up catching the dudes. I don't know if anyone told on each other. They might have because they all got pulled in at different times. But I don't know for sure. I will have to really dive into the paperwork. And I wasn't able to get a chance to do that. But they do got 3 guys arrested. One with life, one with 12 to 30. And the other one, he hasn't been to trial yet. So we will have to see. 2 of the guys was in their 20s. And I think Briley was in his 40s. Now, CeCe was also a big car racer. His last Instagram live, he was actually talking about a race that he had with some dudes. About, he had won the race and lost the rematch and this, that, and the third. Now, could that have factored into, what took place? I don't know, as far as like, but, they also had a lot of talk on CeCe that after, like in certain little blogs or podcasts, talking about the whole pimp lifestyle, this, that, and the third. They were trying to say that, CeCe had been robbed before, allegedly. And, like, basically it was, maybe it could have been a thing of, like, dudes is just, seen him as a lick and continue to try to, catch him and catch a come up off of him. I don't know exactly what it was, but there was a lot of rumors out there now. As far as the whole Jenna Ivory thing, there was rumors about that, try to point the finger, but obviously she ain't had nothing to do with it if they arrested the dudes that did it. Now, was it an inside job? Did they line him up? I don't know. But supposedly he had been at that crib in Vegas for a while. So it wasn't like he had just moved there. Like, so, they might have knew where he was at. They staked him out. They was delivering pizzas. It was a crazy ass scenario, man. So I laid it down and I laid it out in the video. And if you're interested in more, go Google your Googles, do some more research and check it out. And with that, I don't want to ramble too long, man. So I want to keep it moving. Let y'all know this is a profile piece on CeCe Fly, real name Ronnie Cravens. And it's What's the Numbers TV. Make sure y'all go subscribe to the channel. We're 80,000 strong. Hit the like button. Go follow the Instagram. Follow Batty Bills on Instagram. If you need some promo, get with me on the promo, man. We got good deals right now. What's the Numbers TV at yahoo.com. And with that, man, we out of here, man. Pole Road. Peace.